So I've been sculpting ever since I was a goddamn baby. And recently, after I worked on a project, which is this, the Evangelion Unit 1 out of M-Seal or molded, this was hand sculpted, I realized that it took me way too much time to get to where I am in my skill. And I don't want that for new and beginner sculptors who might be overwhelmed by the craft. That's why I'm beginning a new series called Trying to Sculpt. Now, without any further ado, let's begin. Now, I have noticed this constant fear or this weird obsession that new sculptors have with using sculpting tools and different or better sculpting material so that their sculptures may look good. That's not how that works. Before you perfect your craft, you must learn it, as said by Ramesh. Putting all that aside, if you want to begin sculpting, get some of this stuff, get a cutter, a toothpick, because these are going to be your best friends for the next 1 year or for the next time that you're going to sculpt. Let's begin. Now, the clay. If you can, find some clay that does not dry over time, because this gives you more time to work on the thing that you're sculpting. Like this. I used a bunch of clays like these when I had initially begun, and this gave me a lot of time to practice. And it will help you in the long run. Practicing with clay, let me give you an example. I use mold it as my usual sculpting medium, and the thing with mold it is it dries over time. It takes it 2 or 3 hours to dry. And because of this, I don't have enough time to work on the sculpture. I have to be quick with what I'm doing. I have to be quick with how I'm doing it. Especially if it's at a large scale, I have to do it in parts. But when you have clay, with clay, you can do it whenever you want, especially when it's non-drying clay. Get what I mean? Let me give you an example. Let's take some of the white clay. And if you're getting this, it will be hard initially because it's cold out there. It looks like bubble gum. Once your clay is all softened out, you need to learn the 4 basic shapes of sculpting. According to me, there are the 4 basic shapes. Nobody has written a study about this or anything. Cubes, tubes, spheres, and pizza base. Very specific, I know, but it will make sense in a second. Now, a sphere. Take a bit of clay between your fingers. Ignore the fingers and roll it between your palms. And then take it again and roll it on a flat surface. There you have it, a sphere. Now, a cube. Again, take a bit of clay. You're going to use your 4 fingers and your thumbs. First of all, give it a sphere-esque shape. Once you have a cohesive shape, use both your thumbs and your 4 fingers simultaneously to press on opposite sides, rotating the sphere every time until it gets a decent cuboidal shape. And then rotate it the other side to give it proper height. Now if you're a perfectionist, take a knife and then just cut the sides out. This is optional, just like cutting clay, it's fun. There you go, a cube. Then you have the next one. This is very fun, the tube. You take a clump of clay, a little bit more. Using your thumb and your forefinger, you roll it. And then once it has a decent length, you put it on a flat surface anywhere, and then using your forefinger and middle finger, roll it. And there you go, a tube. And now it's time for my favorite shape, the pizza base. This is a flatter shape, so you take a clump of clay, press it between your thumb and your forefinger, make it a little flatter, And now to make it the thinnest it can be, use both your thumbs and your forefingers. And there you go, a pizza base. Now this can be used in a lot of ways. First of all, to create thinner shapes, let me give you an example. Simple. And now it's time for the one thing which I love doing. It's the best part of sculpting, the deconstruction of shapes. Now for this part, I actually went over to my Instagram at HeyHeyUday and asked all of my followers for some sculpting suggestions. And this is what I got. First of all, we have asterisks from Asterix and Obelix. The reason I made his face and not of his body will make sense in a few seconds. First of all, the deconstruction of his face. It's really simple and just needs a few shapes. By that I mean the shapes which I mentioned in this video earlier. The whole sphere, cube, tube and pizza base thing. His face, the primary shape, is just one wacky shaped sphere. Same goes for the nose. Then you have the eyes, and I made the eyes differently in clay because it was not easy to capture that small details, and also I'm lazy. Get the memo. Now the ears were again pizza bases. Same goes to the mustache, just leaf shaped, and the cap, or I mean helmet, and then his wings, or these helmet wings, I don't know what you call them, they were a little different. I took some clay, let me give you the example, this orange one. And there you go, here's another wing. Now, a more complex thing which I sculpted is this. Crocodile from One Piece, his arm with the hook hand. This was again, it looks complex, it's very easy. I took a tube and bent it into the arm shape which I have currently. Then I took another tube, I made it into a donut shape. Let me give you the example. Another tube and wrapped it around the arm, giving a donut shape. Now I took a sphere, attached it to the front part, and then took another tube, making a hook. Also I wrapped a thin strip around it like the pizza base. That was easy. Now for the wrinkles I made, this was very simple and it looked hard in the first place, but let me show you how I did it. Let's say this is the arm. I used my cutter. One of the more essential tools out of cutter and toothpick is cutter. Toothpick is more for structural stuff, as you saw with the Mario. And there's like a toothpick going through the arm to give it more structure. I used the forward part of the blade, which is not sharp, and so something like that. And as for the fur on the wrist, it was again the simplest process. It's just like making the wrinkles on the arm, but you can go a little bit more random with this one. Don't try to stab yourself, and use the tip of the cutter to make these sporadic lines or cuts. Now I made these two. Alongside them I had a lot more suggestions which I also made, and here they are. First of all, I had a limited amount of colors to work with, so I could only mix so much, but I am proud of what I had in the end of the whole session of sculpting. First of all, like I said before, Crocodile from One Piece's arm. Then you have Asterix from Asterix and Obelix. Then you have P-Jack from Tekken 3, his torso. Iron Man's snapping hand from Endgame. And finally, a candy cane pirate. Now, if you have basic cognitive skills and at least 3 brain cells, you know where this is going. Now that it's complete, you can see I added a third toothpick on the back for structural support because clay is like a house of cards. You don't even blow on it and it falls. Now, this thing, I use toothpicks all over this, not as a sculpting tool, moreover as a structural support thing. The first example was the one on the back, because the two on the feet aren't really that supportive, even with the base on. Now, as you can see, there's a joint on the arm that was not intentional. There's a toothpick in the arm which allows for supporting the arm and also the legs. I've angled the arm in such a way. The other arm can also, I guess, bend or swivel. It also has a hole and a peg joint kind of thing going on with a toothpick. And then the one with the head. And the one which is the most stably sound in the whole figure are these two, which go in the torso. And because the torso doesn't really move around a lot, they aren't that structurally bad. They're one of the best joints I have in this entire thing. By that I mean it doesn't move at all. And when you're working with clay, you don't want it to move. It's just a static thing. If you can master that, then you can basically do sculpting. In my case, not in everybody's case. Now, to wrap up the whole video. Basic clay, a cutter, a toothpick, and a bunch of practice can take you a long way in sculpting. You just need to have the time and passion for it. Even if you don't have the time, like 30 minutes every day, just fiddling around with clay, creating really basic stuff like cubes and all that can really help you if you have the passion for this stuff. Now, I will do a part 2 if you want me to. I'm thinking of something alongside a part 2, maybe next month. If you want one, comment down below. I guess that's it for this video. Thanks for watching, anybody who's still watching till this point. Bye-bye.